So today we are going to be making a galaxy painting. We are going to need a piece of paper. Size is up to you. You're going to need a few colors of paint. We're going to need purple, pink, blue, and I have a greenish turquoise and just a little bit of white. You'll also need some water. I poured mine in here because my paint is a little bit thicker, but if you have a little cup, that'll work too. Then, instead of a paintbrush, we are going to be using some type of sponge. So you can use, if you have an extra sponge like this, a loofah, you have one of these scrubber brushes, and I also had this one, I'm not sure what to call this. So any type of foam sponge that you have around your house is great. If you don't have anything like this, I had an Amazon package come, so I opened up the package, I cleaned both sides, and then on the inside there's actually this bubble wrap, and this will also work too. So you have a few options, just use what you have in your house and it'll come out great. Okay, so now that we have our materials ready, we can get started. I'm going to start off using the loofah, and I'm going to dip it in the water a little bit, and then I'm going to start off with blue. So I'm just putting some on my sponge, and I'm going to start pressing it all over my page. I'm just going to cover the paper and add a little bit everywhere. I'm not going to cover the whole thing so that way you can't see any of the white. I want it to be a little random. Okay, now I'm going to add another color. I'm not going to wash this to start a new color. The colors are going to blend on the paper, so it's okay to just dip this into your next color. So now I have purple, so I'm doing blue and then purple, and I might add a little bit of pink into it. As you can see, I'm going to the edge of the paper, and that's why I have a black tablecloth under it. It's a dollar store find, something I can just throw down on my table, because with this project it's hard to stay on just the paper. So I laid something down underneath. Okay, so now I'm looking at my picture and I see that it's more purple, so I might let it dry a little bit and then go over it and add a little bit more blue, just because I want a little bit more blue. And if you sponge it too much while it's all wet, the colors might bleed together. They might mix and become more of one color, and I really want to make sure that you can see the different blues and purples and pinks. So I'm going to wait a little bit, let it dry, and then add more. Alright, now that I have my whole background finished and I covered the paper, I'm going to add little extra details that will make it look more like a galaxy. So I'm going to use my small paintbrush, and I'm going to make sure it's wet by dipping it in the water. And then I'm going to use some white, and we definitely want it to be wet because now I'm not going to put my brush on to the paper. I'm going to splatter it from above. You can wave your hand like this, or you can hold it still and then tap it with your pointer finger with the other hand. And I'm going to go around, and now I'm going to add some pink to brighten it up. in some of my turquoise, kind of like a seafoam green, and add my colors. Okay. Now, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back and look at it in a little bit. Because it's very wet, I'm probably just going to let it sit here. If you can work in an area where you can just leave your art and then come back to it, that would be great. If you're working on your kitchen table and it's time for lunch or dinner, then you can still pick it up carefully on the sides and move it somewhere else to dry. So I'll catch you in about 5-10 minutes. Thanks.